This is GARIS, Masculist, MGTOW flyers. That is 2 3-page essays on the themes of masculism and MGTOW. Written by and read aloud by Prof. Dr. Hugo GARIS. This is flyer number 150, entitled Punishing Female Laziness. Description. This flyer shows how men suffer as a result of female laziness. MGTOWs/masculists put pressure on women to be more energetic, more fit, etc., to liberate men. Now the flyer itself. Punishing female laziness. Men suffer as a result of women's laziness. There are a string of examples that I will list briefly and label here, and follow up on them later. Young women are lazy, fluffy crappers. Women are fluffy crappers at college. Women are fluffies in their 30s and beyond. Women are manslavers. Fluffy feminists are too lazy to examine their own inferiorities, blaming men for everything. Women are lazy with inventions and initiative. Women are sexually lazy, expecting men to take the sexual initiatives. Women are too lazy to achieve much in life. Women need to be socialized, taught differently, so that they get off their lazy asses and pull their weight in society. MGTOW/masculists will play an essential role in causing that to happen. Women are lazier than men. Part of the cause of this difference is physiological. Women have a lower metabolic rate than men, as is well known to couples in bed. The man will be warmer to the woman than vice versa, because the man is burning calories faster than the woman to generate body heat. Researchers know that little boys are far more energetic than little girls. Little boys will run around a lot more in their games, whereas little girls tend to be more sedentary and social. Males are more driven than females due to their much higher levels of testosterone, which makes men more aggressive, more ambitious, more dogged, more persistent, so are driven to achieve more than women, and do. One only has to look at the Who's Who books to see the overwhelming dominance of the high male achievers compared to the small minority of female high achievers. But not all of the differences in energy levels, or equivalently laziness levels, between men and women is due to genetic factors. Some of the difference is due to social factors. And since it's the greater laziness of women that causes men to suffer, that female laziness is the main theme of this flyer. Now I'll go into detail about each category of female laziness. I'm ad-libbing now. Okay. Young women are lazy, fluffy crappers. The large majority, more than 80%, of young women, 16, at high school, choose to study fluffy crap subjects because they're too lazy to use their brains studying math and the sciences that are prerequisites for them to become FIPs, financially independent persons, as adults. They will take the soft option and study non-math, non-sciences because they're easier. They don't demand abstract logical thinking that forces them to use their brains. As a result, they're excluded from studying STEM, science, tech, engineering, math majors at university and the professions. So the diploma they get is rather useless in the marketplace, which does not value a fluffy crap education. As a result, these lazy, fluffy crappers then realize in their 30s, when they want to raise kids in a middle-class house, that they cannot afford one with their fluffy crap salaries. So they start looking around for some manslave to pay for her instead. So the laziness of these fluffy crappers at 16 causes men to be made manslaves for her in her 30s. This massive injustice against men is one of the main reasons that masculists push for the establishment of men's lib groups in every high school to put enormous moral pressure on young women to fip up or not get a man. Personally, I'd like to see calculus made compulsory in 12th grade high school, as well as a science, so that high schools are not excluded from studying STEM majors at university and the professions, like medicine, dentistry, law, architecture, and so on. The fact that more than 80% of young women study fluffy crap shows how large the female laziness problem is. Soviet Russia pushed women into engineering, And so there are large numbers of female engineers, scientists, etc. It can be done. Women are only 3 to 4 IQ points dumber than men on average, which is not a lot. So women are quite capable of studying STEM majors and as a result becoming fit adults, being financially responsible, financially moral, and not parasiting of some manslave. Those women who do decide to become fluffy crappers will be increasingly punished by men refusing to go near them. In the UK, there was a recent poll showing that young British men value a good education and income earning capacity in a woman more than her looks. That's a very healthy sign for men. Hopefully, the rest of the world will follow. Fluffy crappers are future manslavers. They are immoral and need to be punished. The masculists use the slogan, "No calculus, no baby." Quote, "Be fit or be manless." Women who do not study career-competent majors are punished by men who see them as manslavers, as immoral, as parasitic, as vermin to be wiped out by refusing to have anything to do with them, letting them rot on the shelf to extinction. Women are fluffy crappers at college. The fluffy crapper damage is done mostly at the high school level. The fluffy crappers at university are forced to study fluffy crap because of their lazy choices at high school. The STEM departments at university and the professions exclude students who did not study math and sciences at high school. So in practice, about 80% or more of female college students are fluffy crappers, expecting to be able to parasite off a man when they want kids in their 30s. MGTOW/masculists piss on these university-level women as much as they do on the high school fluffy crappers and ignore them just as much. The masculists want to see the establishment of men's lib groups on every college campus to push the idea that fluffy crappers will be left rotting on the shelf. They will be ignored. They won't even be sexed, the ultimate insult coming from men. Women are fluffies in their 30s and beyond. Most women are fluffies, either financially and often even when they are fips, that is, they earn their own good money but still see men as cash machines, to be exploited by women. One of the primary political goals of the masculist movement is to wipe out fluffies and the fluffy mentality of fip women. Until the gender politicians men-fair the gender laws, for example concerning divorce, the para, that's paternity rejection right, etc., MGTOW/masculists will continue to reject marriage and paternity. So the only way a woman will get any kind of relationship with a man will be to twef, in brackets 2A, 2F, equals 2 apartments, 2 fips. But if she's a fluffy, she won't even get that. She'll be punished by men. She'll be ignored by men for her laziness in not bothering to get a career-competent education and become a FIP, that's FIP, financially independent person. FIP women who still show fluffy attitudes towards the men they twef with will find themselves dumped, because MGTOW/masculists despise being seen as cash machines and punish women who treat them as such. Women, both fluffies and fips, will be forced to suppress their fluffy attitudes towards men or be punished by being ignored. Fluffies as manslavers. Masculists have a hatred of fluffies because fluffies are manslavers. Manslavery is slavery, and slavery is a war issue because it rouses such passions. The masculists are at war against the fluffies, aiming politically to wipe them out by ignoring them to extinction. 21st century masculism is the equivalent of 19th century abolitionism against Negro slavery. It's a rebellion by men against working for women, that is, being manslaves for women. The masculists aim to wipe out fluffydom by wiping out the fluffies, pushing for the creation of a FIP society in which all adults are FIP, especially women, who need to be socialized and educated with a strong expectation that they are to be FIPs and get a FIP major education that will make them FIPs as adults. Fluffy feminists are too lazy to examine their own inferiorities, blaming men for everything. MGTOW/masculists despise fluffy feminists, seeing them as utter hypocrites. Fluffy feminists want equal rights with men, but are not prepared to accept equal obligations with men, that is, the moral obligation to become FIPs and not parasite on some manslave. Fluffy feminists are too lazy and cowardly to face the psychologically tough task of examining themselves, their own female inferiorities, and instead blame men for everything that goes wrong with women in their lives. This is what children do. It's not adult. MGTOW/masculists see fluffy feminists as children and don't respect them. The first category of female to be rejected by MGTOW/masculists is the misandrist, man-dumping feminazi who is despised by men. Such women are often fat fours who use feminism as a rationalization for the fact that they are rejected by men. They're too lazy to control the number of calories they stuff into their fat faces, and too lazy to examine their own shortcomings. This is seen as being hypocritical and contemptible by MGTOW/masculists. Women are lazy with inventions and initiative. Females tend to be intellectually lazy, uncurious, unintellectual. The female contribution to world intellect is negligible, perhaps 1%. Women have won a pathetic 1% of the Science Nobel Prizes. Part of that is due to the genetic inferiority of women compared to men, because males have a 10% higher IQ variance than females. That is, their IQ scores over the whole population are more spread out, more varied, having a higher variance. This is a typical example of the general biological phenomenon of GMV, in brackets, greater male variance. This lower IQ variance in women will handicap them in becoming genii, but to the extent that they can be creative and invent things, they need to expend more effort. MGTOW/masculists push women to get off their bums more and think, invent, in quotes, go where no woman has gone before. Men get tired of inventing everything and see women then benefit more from male invention than men do, because most women are still fluffies in their expectations of men. Women are sexually lazy. Women are lazy when it comes to sexual initiatives. If women took as many sexual initiatives as men, there'd be as much talk of female sexual harassment of males as vice versa. Women are cowards sexually and socially. They're scared stiff of being rejected sexually or socially by men, so prefer to make less effort taking initiatives and let men do most of the work. This attitude is not only cowardly, it's selfish, because these women don't care about the feelings of men they reject. This sexual social cowardice and laziness of women is something the MGTOW/masculists sneer at. Women are too lazy to achieve much in life. Female laziness results in men having higher status in all cultures, because from long experience all cultures know that a boy baby is more likely to grow up to be an exceptional member of his culture than a girl baby, who almost certainly will not do anything notable and will just perform her usual functions of being a baby machine and raiser of the next generation. Women have such low status in most cultures because they contribute so little. In New Guinea, in the men's long houses, women are forbidden because the men don't want their company and they're nagging, their negative female natures, just as in the same way British Victorian men's clubs also excluded women, so that the male members could get away from the tyrannical parasitism of women. They wanted to relax and relate only with other males in a calm, rational manner and not have to put up with female hysterics. In a few decades, women will go into deep existential crisis because male genii will invent the artificial womb and the sex bot. Japanese scientists have already grown a goat in an artificial womb, so artificial wombs for humans cannot be far into the future, perhaps a decade or two. Similarly with sex bots, who will be built to be very curvy with creamy, grippy vaginas and 10 out of 10 facial looks. These sex bots will do a better job at sexing men than women, and be more amusing to be with as AI, that's artificial intelligence, improves. As a result of these two tech revolutions, women will lose their primary functions, that is, to sex men and to raise the next generation. Men will grow their own babies and sex their bots, so why would men need women? Women's lower contribution to society and their general laziness will not be appreciated by men, who will go their own way at a much greater rate. The population will crash until alternative lifestyles grow up to keep the population stable. It doesn't matter too much if the kids are man-grown or woman-grown, so long as they turn out the same. But women's general status will suffer. They'll be pushed into the shadows by men who will not take them seriously. If women want to be taken more seriously by men, they will have to perform better, make better contributions to society, but that's not going to happen if they remain lazy bitches. Cheers. Prof. Dr. Hugo de Garis. Email profhugodegaris@yahoo.com. Website profhugodegaris.wordpress.com. YouTube channel name GARIS, Masculist, MGTOW, Flyers. Ciao.